The Waqf controversy is back in Kerala, but this time it is not about Munambam or disputed land. It is about the Kerala State Waqf Board itself. A High Court order has effectively frozen the board from taking major political decisions. The matter has now reached the Supreme Court. Political parties are accusing each other of betrayal. Muslim organizations are questioning the government's stand. And at the center of it all is one uncomfortable question. Can a government oppose a law politically while appearing to implement the same law administratively? Let's understand. The Kerala High Court recently restrained the State Waqf Board from taking major policy decisions and major financial commitments until questions regarding its constitution are resolved. The court observed, at least prima facie, that the board has not been constituted in accordance with Section 14 of the amended Waqf Act. The controversy revolves around the Waqf Amendment Act passed by Parliament last year. The amended law mandates that every state Waqf board should have two non-Muslim members. It also provides for representation of different Muslim sects, including the Shia community. The present Kerala Waqf Board has neither. This is why the High Court intervened. The board has now challenged the High Court's interim order before the Supreme Court of India, arguing that the restrictions are affecting its day-to-day functioning. But the legal battle is only one part of the story. The bigger story is political. When the Waqf Amendment Bill was introduced in the Parliament, almost every major Muslim organization opposed it. They argued that compelling non-Muslim representation in a body that administers Muslim religious endowments amounts to interference in the community's religious affairs. The Indian Union Muslim League was one of the strongest opponents of the bill. The Congress also opposed it at the national level. The CPIM and the CPI described it as an attack on constitutional rights guaranteed to minorities. Kerala government itself, while Pinarayi Vijayan was the chief minister, challenged the law before the Supreme Court. But today, the political narrative has changed. Before the Kerala High Court, the state government indicated that the Waqf Board would have to be reconstituted according to the amended law. That statement has given the opposition a powerful political weapon. One of the biggest political problems for the UDF is that its defense appears increasingly fragile. The Congress has dismissed the CPIM's and LDF's allegations as completely false. It says the state government never supported the BJP leader Sean George's demand to appoint two non-Muslim members to the Waqf Board. It was Sean George who approached the High Court. According to the Congress, the government had actually sought the dismissal of the petition challenging the board's constitution. But the opposition has responded with what it says are the government's own court documents. Leader of opposition Pinarayi Vijayan has released portions of the state's submissions in the court, and he claims they tell a very different story. According to him, the government informed the court that Waqf Board would have to be reconstituted in accordance with the amended Waqf Act. That was indeed the position taken before the court. Pinarayi argues it amounts to accepting and implementing the very provisions that the Congress and the Muslim League had opposed in the Parliament and continue to challenge before the Supreme Court. This is where the controversy lies. The Congress says it never supported the petitioners or the amended law. The CPIM argues that regardless of political statements, the government's legal submissions proceeded on the basis that the amended act has to be implemented. That raises an uncomfortable question for the UDF. How can a government challenge a law before Supreme Court while appearing to accept the same law before the High Court? Pinarayi Vijayan has used precisely this contradiction to launch a political attack on the UDF. He says the government has surrendered to the Sangh Parivar's agenda and weakened Kerala's own constitutional challenge. Perhaps the most difficult position is that of the Muslim League. The League remains firmly opposed to the amended Waqf Act. Its MPs opposed the legislation in Parliament. Its leaders continue to argue that the amendments interfere with minority rights. But the League is also part of the ruling coalition UDF in Kerala. That means it has to defend decisions taken by the UDF government. This has created an obvious political dilemma. Should the League continue opposing the law politically, or should it defend the government's administrative decisions even if they appear to legitimize a law the party fundamentally opposes? Muslim organizations are watching this very closely. Many of them believe that accepting the amended provisions, even temporarily, weakens the broader constitutional challenge before the Supreme Court of India. Their concern is that once governments begin implementing a disputed law, it becomes harder to argue later that the law itself is unconstitutional. Meanwhile, another development has added a new dimension. A Shia organization has approached the Kerala High Court seeking representation on the Waqf Board, pointing out that the amended law itself provides for such representation. Ironically, even those seeking greater representation are relying on provisions contained in the very amended Act that remains under constitutional challenge. The Waqf Board chairperson, meanwhile, has alleged that the petitions challenging the board's constitution are part of a larger conspiracy to weaken the institution.
ആ കേസ് ഇപ്പോഴും നടന്നുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കുകയും ചെയ്യാണ്. ആ സമയത്താണ് രണ്ട് നോൺ മുസ്ലിങ്ങളെ അപ്പോയിന്റ് ചെയ്തിട്ടില്ലാത്ത കാരണം കൊണ്ട് ബോർഡ് പിരിച്ചുവിടണമെന്ന BJP നേതാവിന്റെ റിട്ടില് ലീഗ് അടക്കം നേതൃത്വം കൊടുക്കുന്ന ഗവൺമെന്റ് നേരിട്ട് കോടതിയിൽ പോയി അതിനെ സപ്പോർട്ട് ചെയ്തു. മറ്റൊരു ദുഃഖകരമായ സംഭവം, അവിടെ സുപ്രീം കോടതി ഹൈക്കോടതിയുടെ ബഹുമാന്യനായ ചീഫ് ജസ്റ്റിസ് ചോദിക്കുന്നുണ്ട്, AGയോട് ചോദിക്കുന്നുണ്ട്, അഡ്വക്കേറ്റ് ജനറലോട് ചോദിക്കുന്നുണ്ട്, നിങ്ങൾ പെറ്റീഷനെ സപ്പോർട്ട് ചെയ്യുകയാണോ എന്ന് ചോദിക്കുന്നുണ്ട്. യെസ്, വി ആർ സപ്പോർട്ടിംഗ് ദ പെറ്റീഷൻ.
So today, the controversy is no longer merely about two non-Muslim members. It is about constitutional law, minority rights, and coalition politics. And it is about whether political parties can take one position in parliament, another in court, and yet another before the people. The Supreme Court will eventually decide the constitutional validity of the amended Waqf Act. But until then, Kerala's Waqf Board will remain at the center of one of the most politically sensitive legal battles in the country.